Hello, sports fans. Welcome to this journey where we explore the stories of the greatest athletes of all time. Today, I bring you the life of a man who transformed tennis into art, who turned the racket into a pen and every stroke into poetry. A player who not only won titles but also conquered millions of hearts around the world. Today, we are going to talk about Roger Federer. And before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of these stories. Plus, on this channel you'll find many more videos like this one, where we revisit the lives and careers of sports legends. Roger Federer was born on August 8, 1981, in Basel, Switzerland, into a family with diverse roots. His mother, Lynette, came from South Africa, and his father, Robert, was Swiss. This cultural mix would mark him for life. Roger grew up speaking several languages, Swiss German, English, and French, which later helped him connect with fans all over the world. From a very young age, Roger was an energetic, restless child. He spent hours playing outside, in the street, in the garden, hitting balls against any surface. His coordination was remarkable. He practiced soccer, badminton, and basketball, but it was with a racket in his hand that he showed something truly special. At just 8 years old, he joined the TC Old Boys Basel club, and his first coaches noticed that he didn't play like the others. He didn't just like to return the ball. He sought impossible angles, improvised shots, attempted drop shots that seemed unnecessary, but already displayed his creativity. However, Federer was not easy to manage. He had an explosive temperament. He yelled, argued, smashed rackets when things didn't go well. More than one coach thought he wouldn't go far if he didn't learn to control his emotions. At 12 years old, he made one of the first great decisions of his life, to give up soccer and dedicate himself exclusively to tennis. That total commitment allowed him to enter the National Training Center in Ecublens, where he trained with other young talents and began practicing like a professional. There he lived for the first time away from his family, learning discipline, self-control, and sacrifice. Progress was fast. In 1998, Federer won Wimbledon Junior Singles and the US Open Junior Doubles, confirming himself as one of the great talents of the future. That same year, he debuted as a professional. Jumping into the pros was a reality check. Federer had plenty of talent, but he still lacked maturity and consistency. In 1999, at just 18, he entered the ATP Top 100 for the first time and represented Switzerland in the Davis Cup. There he showed flashes of brilliance, but also unexpected losses. At the 2000 Sydney Olympics, Federer didn't win a medal, but he lived a key moment in his life. He met Mirka Vavrinek, a Swiss player who would later become his wife and a fundamental pillar of his career. In 2001, the tennis world was shaken. Federer defeated Pete Sampras at Wimbledon, breaking his streak of 31 consecutive wins in the tournament. Although he lost in the next round, that victory was an announcement to the planet. A new giant had arrived. Yet Federer was still inconsistent. He could beat a world number one and then lose to a lower-ranked rival. In 2002 he won his first ATP title, but also suffered an emotional blow, the death of his coach and mentor, Peter Carter, in a car accident in South Africa. Federer was devastated. He swore he would reach his full potential as a tribute to the man who had taught him to love tennis. That promise was a turning point in his career. In 2003 Federer won his first Grand Slam, Wimbledon, defeating Mark Philippoussis. It was just the beginning. From 2004 to 2007, Federer entered an almost inhuman dimension. 11 Grand Slams in 4 years, 237 consecutive weeks as world number one. Seasons with over 90% win rates. In 2006 he won 92 matches and lost only 5. His game was a perfect blend of technique, elegance, and creativity. His forehand was considered the best on tour, his one-handed backhand was pure aesthetics, and his movement on court seemed like ballet. Federer didn't just play, he seemed to float. Between 2004 and 2007, only one name began to challenge him at the top, Rafael Nadal. The history of tennis cannot be told without this rivalry. Nadal burst onto the scene with force, especially on clay. Since 2005, Federer tried to conquer Roland Garros, but Nadal defeated him again and again. Their matches were a clash of styles. Federer, the elegant artist, offensive, fluid. Nadal, the physical gladiator, tireless, indestructible. The pinnacle came in Wimbledon 2008. Federer was seeking his 6th consecutive title. Nadal wanted revenge for the finals lost in 2006 and 2007. The match lasted 4 hours and 48 minutes, was interrupted by rain, and ended with Nadal lifting the trophy in London's twilight. Many call it the greatest tennis match in history. Federer and Nadal weren't just rivals. They built a genuine friendship. Off the court, they shared exhibitions, charity causes, and a mutual respect rarely seen in sport. While the world enjoyed the Federer-Nadal rivalry, a third name emerged: Novak Djokovic. Djokovic arrived with an imposing physique, a steel mentality, and relentless tennis. From 2011, he began to challenge Federer and Nadal's supremacy. His duels with the Swiss were intense. At the US Open 2010 and 2011, Federer had match points, but Djokovic defeated him with impossible returns. At the 2019 Wimbledon final, Federer had 2 championship points to claim his 21st Grand Slam, but Djokovic resisted and won in the 5th-set tiebreak, the longest match in the tournament's history. Over time, Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic formed the so-called Big Three, considered the golden era of tennis. Between them, they dominated the tour for more than 15 years, starring in the most memorable battles in modern sports. Beyond the court, Federer was a model of inspiration. In 2009, he married Mirka, his lifelong partner. Together they had 4 children, 2 sets of twins. He founded the Roger Federer Foundation, which has benefited more than 1.5 million children in Africa and Switzerland through educational programs. He became one of the most admired and respected athletes on the planet, multiple times voted the fans' favorite athlete in international awards. He was the face of iconic brands like Nike, Rolex, and Uniqlo, becoming one of the highest-paid athletes of all time. His style, elegance, and humility made him a global ambassador for the sport. In 2016, Federer underwent his first knee surgery. Many thought his career was over, but in 2017 he shocked the entire world. He came back in style. He won the Australian Open, defeating Nadal in a historic final, and then Wimbledon, without dropping a single set. In 2018, he captured his 20th Grand Slam in Australia, extending his legend. That second win was considered one of the greatest sporting achievements of all time. Federer, over 35 years old, was still defeating the best in the world. However, injuries returned. Between 2019 and 2021, he played less and less, until he finally decided to retire. On September 15, 2022, Federer officially announced his retirement. The news spread worldwide and millions of fans cried at his goodbye. His farewell was at the Lava Cup, a tournament he himself created. In his last match, he played doubles alongside Rafael Nadal. In the end, both ended up holding hands, crying, as the crowd gave them a standing ovation. It was a moment that transcended sports. 2 rivals turned brothers in battle. Roger Federer was not just a player. He was a symbol. He won 20 Grand Slam titles. He claimed 103 ATP titles. He was 310 weeks world number 1. He marked an era alongside Nadal and Djokovic. But his greatest legacy was inspiration. Federer taught that one can be competitive without losing elegance, that one can win without arrogance, and that greatness lies as much in victories as in the way they are achieved. Today, his style is imitated by thousands of young players, and his name will remain engraved not only in the history of tennis but also in the history of world sports. Roger Federer's story is that of a boy who dreamed of becoming a champion and ended up becoming a legend. A man who turned tennis into art and inspired entire generations. Now, sports fans, I ask you, which Federer match do you remember the most? Which moment of his career made you vibrate with emotion? Leave your answers in the comments and also tell us which other athlete do you want us to talk about in the next video. And remember, subscribe, leave a like, and activate the notification bell to keep enjoying the most epic stories in sports. On this channel you'll find many more videos like this one, where we revisit the lives of the greatest legends. See you in the next one, champions.